Do you know Army?
Do you know Army?
Do you know Army?
Welcome back, everyone, to the WWARMYTV podcast.
Woo-hoo!
I am Sarah.
I'm Mimi or Mako.
Zoe.
I'm Buana.
And today we've got a lot of exciting things to talk to y'all about. So, at the time of us recording, we just got, I guess a few days ago at this point, the announcement that BTS will be holding their first in a long time in-person concert in LA called Permission to Dance.
Yes.
Now let's just.
I don't need no permission.
We got a lot to unpack here.
Break this down really quick, guys. So we got a notification first through. Honestly, I want to say it was through some sort of social media, not necessarily through Weverse first.
No, it was through Weverse first.
Oh,
and then we got
okay. So we got a notification from Weverse. And whenever I was reading it, I was in my bed. And I was like, "What the heck is this? Get everybody on the phone! Everybody get here! Mama, come in
Calling
here!
all cars.
Calling everybody!"
Oh no! I thought you were going back to when we had our money slapped across our face. Okay.
Oh, when we were forced refunded? No.
Yeah. No, it was. So as far as the announcement, I sent it into group, and it was from Weverse.
And it was from Weverse. Yes. And then that's when we had to, call everybody.
Emergency
Avengers
meeting.
Assemble.
And just to give you guys some context here, there's been some podcasts in the past where we've mentioned that 3 of us were in a household and 1 of us wasn't, but we've since split up households more. So even more so, not everybody was together at the time the announcement went out. And we usually go to these concerts together. We haven't already guessed already. So Zoe and Buana had to round everyone up. Mimi was at an event. I took a little bit of time to get to my phone, but I was there once I got there. I picked up my phone, and I saw 3 calls from Zoe and 2 calls from Buana, and I was like, oh my God, what is happening?
Because, Army, we know in this crew, and I'm sure a lot of other Army crews know, when we're texting constantly saying, pick up your phone, this is not a drill, just leave work.
It's either someone died or BTS,
yes,
one or the other.
Someone died or BTS, and that is an emergency. So I think Miyako was even driving when she finally picked up her phone, and she's like, hold on, I can't see, I'm doing this, whatever y'all decide, I'm gonna go, just do it. So we finally got Sarah on the phone, Quaisha and Mama and all of us, we were in my room and we were going through reading things, and at first we were like, wait a minute, is this the October thing that they were talking about?
Right, the online concert, or we tried to have to confirm they really mean they're gonna be in person.
An actual live action concert.
Live action, warm bodies.
And to make things a little more confusing, if you haven't heard already, those ticket holders who had a ticket for the last tour, who were forced refunded, have a special code for them to get into an earlier pre-sale.
An earlier pre-sale.
Yes, the very first pre-sale.
Here's what that means, Army. And this is why it was triply confusing for us. Now, you have the normal tickets. Mm-hmm. For those who don't necessarily have Army membership, they want to go to the concert, they have their normal date of purchasing tickets. Then you have above that Army membership tickets. You can purchase tickets a day ahead. It's an early registration. And then above that, suddenly, those who were forced refunded from the canceled concert can get tickets a day before Army. Guys, we fall into all of those categories.
Literally.
So we got like 15 different notifications.
So we're trying to figure out what the hell this means, and then we had to figure out what these pre-sales mean, because just for more context, we are veteran ticket buyers. However, it seems like every time they have a new concert, they change up the process somehow, some way. So we were just trying to get all of our, ducks in a row and figure this out. And then, of course, Mimi is at an event, so it's not like she can be on the phone actively with us.
And let me tell you, it was stressful to not be a part of that conversation, because I felt like half of me was at the event and the other half of me was like trying to figure out what the heck my crew was deciding and doing and what was going on. Is it real? Is it not real? Am I awake?
I'm in emergency mode. I live at home with my boyfriend, but as soon as I figure out what we're doing, I'm just like, go to your room. Don't speak to me for 2 hours. Okay, what are we doing? I'm like pulling up my computer. I'm pulling up my phone. I'm FaceTiming them while looking at stuff on my phone.
And then also for me and Mama and Quaisha, we were all in my room yelling, arguing, talking, conversing, trying to figure things out. And
now,
my
y'all,
brothers,
this ain't ticket buying yet.
And my
We just
brothers-
discussing the possibility.
and my brothers came into the room saying, "Is everything okay?" And we just shouted at him, "No, nothing's okay."
And don't ask. Leave.
Just leave.
So let me say this. And I understand Sarah saying that it seems like every time we do this, the process gets extended and changes. But I was really hoping that, I think this is special circumstances because we were force refunded. And they have to take in, they graciously took into consideration the forced refunding and those who kept tickets.
I am happy about that.
Yeah. So in any other time and era in life, we would not have been forced refunded, and this would just be a regular process of another year of concert buying. And I would think that because the last time we purchased tickets, that process was set out where it was not
That's
confusing,
crazy.
it was not crazy. Everybody did have separate days, but it was not as convoluted as this one is being, because they had to take into consideration who kept their tickets and then also who had VIP tickets.
Yeah, because we didn't just keep our tickets. That was 2 years.
Yeah, and you know, and then those that have VIP tickets, they have a different purchasing time and day, so forth and so on. So I think in any other universe, in any other time, it would not have been this many tiers of ticket buying process. So hopefully, moving forward, once we get back to normalcy, that ticket buying process will be back to that normal, not confusing type of process.
And before we dive in a little bit more on the day of us figuring out, oh snap, there's a concert, let's backtrack a little bit and discuss why it's only one location for 2 weekends, right? So I mean, there are quite a few theories, I think.
Yeah. This is what I came up with, if y'all don't mind me jumping in first.
Go ahead.
I thought about the fact that for a long time we've talked about Korea having a muster. And no matter when they have comeback stages, they've had comeback stages in Korea, they've had comeback stages in Japan, they've had comeback stages in the past couple of years here in the States.
They have?
So no matter what, the
Like
muster...
on Billboard.
Oh, yeah.
They have.
Yeah. Oh, she took that, as you were saying, as a question.
Oh, no. They have. They have.
So no matter what, those change up sometimes, but a muster is always
in Korea.
And they get that privilege, that home court advantage. So I think with the process of breaking into the U.S. stage, into the U.S. market, that they are keeping in line with that process by making this particular huge lifetime event be here at the U.S. stage. And also, I thought about, well, why L.A.? Well, when they come to the States, they typically start in L.A. with the tour for the States.
Yeah, I
They
definitely
typically
think they
start
have
in
a
LA.
system built just for them in LA. So I think it
Yeah.
is easier.
And I think also the third part of my theory was what Mimi has been adamant about. She thinks the location for Hybe in the U.S. would be in L.A. because of Scooter Braun's company. I keep calling it Scooter Braun. It's Hybe now.
Yeah.
It's our company. Is there also, and because it's there, I think that factored into them starting in L.A. So for those reasons, I think that's why it started in L.A. Now, as far as it only being L.A. this particular time, or only being L.A. announced this particular time, that was confusing also.
So it's one location and just 2 weekends. Now, hear us out. All of Army knows that this is the entire planet shooting for these 2 weekends, right? However, a couple of Army has tweeted about and posted about, and we noticed that they said something along the lines of
the very next day, Big Hit tweeted, "This is our first. This is our first location, our first stop for the permission to dance stage."
Did they just
and
say?
then when they said our first stop, literally the line said first stop, and it ended in a question mark.
I think it said, "Is this just our first stop?" And there was like a question mark.
Or
Either
something
way,
like that.
It implied that there would be more stops.
It definitely implied that there could possibly be more stops. And we also talked about, this is a possible theory, that this is the test pilot. This is to see, because they haven't had a concert in a long time. Well, we're not talking about the virtual ones. We're talking about the in-persons for a long time. So this is possibly their pilot, their test run to see how well it worked, if it was considered, because we have to keep in mind, they're putting their reputation on the line, because the pandemic, by no stretch of the imagination, is over, and COVID is still very much a key player in our environment. And so we have to keep in mind that they're going to be attaching this concert to their name. So if it turns out to be a super spreader, they're going to have to deal with the blunt of that storm. So I feel like if they want to have more stops, then it is incumbent upon all of us as Army to really, be vaccinated, make sure we wear a mask, make sure that we're looking out for the rest of Army. Because if this becomes successful and they can accomplish what they want to accomplish, then guys, that could possibly definitely mean more states or more countries.
But I can absolutely understand them putting in a pilot at first, because they have no control over how well even, Army who comes follows the guidelines that they put out. Because at the same time, we're all so excited to see the boys. We can get, lost in the moment. Mm-hmm. We can really forget ourselves at a time. And I think about it from their perspective. They have to control up to 70,000 people for this first concert. They need
because you got to think about the Uber drivers, the parents,
absolutely,
that are dropping people
They need
off.
to see if they can pull it off. If they can pull off controlling and coordinating this many people in a major city. And I think if it goes well, then they will. I know the boys are willing to do more.
And they basically told us this when we were forced refunded, and we kind of scoffed. We, meaning the four of us, kind of scoffed in their face, like, "What the are you even talking about?" They literally said, we're doing this so we can come up with a more strategic plan, or strategically come up with a better plan. And of course, like I said, then we scoffed in their face, like, yeah, whatever. But I can see this as their more strategic plan.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Army has a reputation in concerts to be on really good behavior in comparison to a lot of other incidents. The hesitation, I think, is the fact that we've been starved for 2 years. So of course, even us four we've done this before, is gonna feel like the first time.
And it's gonna be different. It's gonna be different because we were just talking about this before the podcast, but Mimi, you mentioned that the SoFi Stadium, which is gonna be taken at, has mandated mask policies.
They do have mandated masks, and what a lot of concerts are doing now is they're having mandatory vaccination cards too.
Yeah, exactly. Which I'm surprised they're not making you prove vaccination. They are saying if you you can look up Know Your Stadium for SoFi Stadium, and they give you all of their rules and regulations and what they expect in this pandemic time. But they literally say vaccinated or not. So it's not that they're going to make you prove vaccination, I don't believe, because nobody has said that, but they are making you beyond anything.
So it's not the venue that's requiring it, it's the artist. It's the
No, the venue. These are the rules for the venue.
No.
Oh.
I'm talking about the vaccination cards.
Oh.
It's not something that the venue is doing per se. It's the artist, because the artist's reputation is on the line. Their management group.
Are you saying that's what our guys are? Oh, some
of these management groups are requiring people to be vaccinated before they can come.
Yeah, because
that artist's name is on the line.
Because we have family that went to a concert 3 or 4 weeks ago. At the end of September, and they literally had to show the vaccination card, and it was a no-go. So yes, some events are making you do that. Now, as far as SoFi, Armies, be prepared. If you are one of the ones that procure a ticket and you are going to LA and you make it to LA safely, you will be required to wear those masks while you are bang-tanging and running out of breath.
And make sure you bring extra, because you're going to be traveling. You're going to be running around town. It's going to be hectic. I think that with all the madness, it's very real for you to try and be prepared, because you don't know if you might run out real quick to go do something and realize you don't have a mask, or you run out, to the venue really fast.
I think they'll have masks available on site. Typically, those venues do.
Yeah, and they should. They're
but
smart.
What you might want to consider is getting your vaccination, because even though they haven't mentioned it yet, they may mention it when it comes closer to time and say, hey, we're going to require you to have your vaccination.
Or you may be in a state that is going to require it, period. Or they end up at a stadium that is going to require it, period. So this is our little stint about go get vaccinated. Just go get vaccinated. And then if you're at that 6 to 8 8-month point out, go get your booster. By all means, go get your booster.
I'm actually even going to try and get my booster beforehand, because for me, I checked my card recently. My 6 months for my second shot is going to be exactly on December 2nd.
In. So just keep that in mind. And then also, as I was saying, that particular stadium, it is requiring us to wear masks in our seats. And as we stand, as we walk in the bathroom, the only time you do not have to wear your mask is if you are inserting food or drink into your mouth. Then you pull that mask right back up. And they are serious and strict about it, and they tell you will be asked to leave. So asking an army to leave,
Now, BTS concert? That's like asking
If
a
you're
human being
concerned
to
about
stop
breathing,
breathing.
I actually think that even for us, I want to get some of those like extra mask inserts where it's like a little frame that goes underneath your mask.
It pushes it off
Yeah.
so that you can breathe.
Now, what they did not do is specify what kind of mask. Like, I work in healthcare, and you either have to have an N95 or you have to have a surgical mask. They stipulate what type of mask, but they have not said that they stipulate what kind of mask. So
I saw a video the other day. I know we kind of digressed. I'm sorry, but I saw a video the other day of a mask that had like super for athletes to be able to wear the mask and still be able to perform. And I think that's the kind of mask I'm gonna get for this concert, because it's kind of like an air vent type thing that like runs, and like somehow you can still get fresh air, but it's still.
Now, you might want to call, and any armies that's listening, because I know in some places where you gather, the ones with the air vents, you and I have run
Just
into
bring
this.
backup.
They will not allow
just in
those.
case.
So
Yeah, but these are. I'm gonna look more into it for myself, and we don't need to continue to talk more about it. But I'm gonna look into it because it's a special mask for athletes. So obviously, it does serve some type of protection for some.
Yeah, but even the ones that you and I had, and we're gonna move away from this, they still protected, but those facilities still would not let us in with it. You remember?
We'll
so.
see.
Okay, so moving right along,
But,
as far as our theories, I gave my theory as to why.
I'd never even thought of a theory. I really didn't care.
I completely agree with what Juana said, though.
Okay.
That's what I
that
think
sounds
as well.
good. Sounds good.
And I think it makes the most sense. I think also for LA, like you said, that is kind of their home base in the US.
For sure.
Especially with all of the US activities they've done over the past 2 years, like during the pandemic. That I think that they've probably even built on their home base more there over the past 2 years when they've been coming here.
Yeah, LA was there even when they first started doing concerts. LA was their first stop.
Yeah,
So
every time they come,
they
to the
definitely
tour.
have a home base there.
Yeah. So, as far as what we may think the guys are thinking about this, about how it's being strategically done, possibly strategically done, what do we think they're thinking about this? They put a YouTube video out announcing it themselves, and they, to me, seemed ecstatic about it.
I think that they pushed for this because I think that even this, considering the current pandemic, I think that they pushed for even this risk because I think this is the safest time to do it, but it's still a risk. By all means, it's still a risk, especially for them. I know that they probably were quarantined the harshest at the beginning of the pandemic compared to everyone else. I mean, other than staying in Korea, I'm sure that they could barely even leave their buildings. And if y'all remember from the Life Goes On music video, they had to film that in their dorms. They quarantined together. So I think that even more so for them, this is a risk also because I don't think the U.S. COVID numbers have still been looking really good. So I think that it's a big step for them to be willing to start their in-stage concert here. And I really appreciate that. But I think that because of all this, I believe that the boys pushed for it because I don't think that the company necessarily would have pressured them otherwise.
Yeah, I can see that. I would like to think that the old agency, because I honestly feel like there's been a shift and change as far as the culture inside the agency. I can see the old agency would have looked at them, their mental status, their how they're being smothered and just going through stuff, and said, for them, we need to do something. We came up with the Zoom, with certain armies. We came up with the online concerts, and they could see armies. They couldn't interact, but they could see armies. So we came up with that stuff, but they still are not. I can see the old culture of the agency doing that and saying, this is it. This cuts it. This tears it. We're going to lose our 97% of our revenue creative individuals if we don't pull them up out of this.
And it's interesting, if that theory is accurate, then that would clearly explain why they chose LA, because they have mentioned over and over and over again that they get the most lit from LA and in different places in the States. So I mean, if you gonna get them,
sure
if you gonna get them energized, then get them
it.
energized,
Yeah.
huh?
I'm sure it's a lot of different reasons, and I think that
Yeah,
definitely
because how do you just
factors
skip
into
Korea?
it. Right.
Like,
Well, I mean that's what I was thinking. How do you just skip Korea? And then that's when it dawned on me. Wait, they've been catered to a lot. They've been catered to a lot year after year. No matter what, they always get the muster.
I don't know
So
if that's the case or they can't do it in Korea. I personally think that has nothing to do
Right,
with it.
because
I think
we
they
don't know
can't
what
do it in Korea.
the gathering guidelines are in Korea right
Yeah,
now.
I think that might be playing a role into it
Yeah,
too. They
maybe
can't
too.
do it.
And
there.
if they're thinking this tears it, we have to do something, or we're going to lose.
Well,
then-
they've been seeing consistently over the last probably now 5 or 6 months, concerts happening.
Right.
There have been concerts
here,
happening
yeah.
here for going on for the last 5 or 6 months now, and nothing's been shut down. They weren't considered. At least I haven't heard them being considered as super spreader events. So I mean, people have been going to concerts, music concerts. They've been going to comedy concerts,
And then also take into account that President Moon did just tell us that his country is only like 55% vaccinated, whereas we have exceeded that, not by too much, but they're only 55% vaccinated.
Part of that is for a lot of the concerts in the U.S. that have been happening so far, a lot of those do require the vaccination proof.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think
And
that's helpful.
but obviously it's working because I
Yeah.
haven't heard anything about them being super spreader events
right.
at all.
So, all that said, how do we feel about the fact that just in a few days we are going to be shuffling our little fingers around again, trying to procure the tickets that we just literally had less than a month ago, and they
Right.
smacked
At the
back
time of
into
us
our
recording
face.
this, we haven't bought tickets yet. We have prepared for everything else, but the actual ticket buying day is only in a few days for us, and we are on edge. Let me tell you, I can't breathe normally right now.
Like literally from the day that we described to you at the beginning of the podcast, the day we got the notification, and then we were like all hands on deck. That was not over the top for us. And that was just the beginning. So to come down from that day, and actually we did not start to come down until well after 10 or 11 o'clock that night. But to come down from that day, you mentally have to start recalibrating yourself, because you're not going to sleep. If you don't come down, you're not going to be able to eat properly. You're not going to concentrate at work or at school, so forth and so on. Because literally from that day, you are like on the 10th kilter, and you're just going. So it takes a mental and a physical toll from that day of announcement all the way until you actually
Purchase your
tickets.
And as I was telling, the rest of the crew here, I think what makes me particularly extra nervous is that for previous concerts, where you're just trying to compete with local Army for your local concert or whichever ones you're gonna go to. For this one, I don't even know how much Army knows that they might add another date. I think some Army at least thinks that this is the only one said and done no matter what. We're going to be competing with the whole nation on these concert dates this time.
And I maintain, not even the whole nation. I guarantee you there are VIP holders of tickets, or there were VIP holders of tickets for this tour that we just got canceled, that were coming from other countries, coming from Canada, coming from London.
Oh, that's
from,
true.
and
That
were
is
coming
true.
because every year that we've gone to a concert, we meet people from other countries.
We have.
So I guarantee you, other people from other countries were coming and had VIP tickets here.
But they're only accepting the tickets here for Canada and the U.S.
Yes, I mentioned it earlier. I think you were doing something else. But I looked into it, and there's other international Army talking about it and said that when they tried to register for the pre-sale, for this concert, they're only allowing
U.S. people?
U.S.
US
and
and
Canada.
That does not make sense.
Wait.
Yeah,
Wait,
it does.
They actually put that out?
I don't remember where I read it.
But it makes sense because of... Go ahead. What did you want to say?
They are allowing pre-registration for U.S. and Canada for to get tickets. Period.
I don't know if it's period, but I know at least for the pre-sale, they're only allowing U.S. and Canada.
That's not fair.
It is fair because of the way that this whole system is the because of the pandemic system way of doing things, you can be in a country that we don't accept people from.
Yeah, and that's your choice to make, knowing that you can't leave your country. Then you're going to be like, okay, but if I can leave my country, if I'm in Zimbabwe and I can leave my country and I was a VIP holder, for you to tell me that you're not going to let me do what you're letting the armies do in the U.S. that were the same VIP holders is bullshit.
Sure, even Korea.
To be fair, we felt this way last time when we didn't know what they're going to do for the concert because we were just force refunded, right?
Yeah.
This having happened, I will say there is some hope that they are considering something like that. I think that maybe just for this first pilot one, they wanted to limit it to a pool because this, like you said before,
Because of the cross-contamination.
Yes, because they're testing. But I think that if this goes well, they're probably going to open the other ones.
Well,
So
that's
they,
certainly,
okay, so go ahead.
that's certainly idealistic dreaming.
No,
and
that's pretty
hopefully-
accurate.
I
You mean about them choosing other countries?
don't know what you're saying. I'm saying that if they add more dates and more locations, that's idealistic thinking. But I honestly lost my thought.
I still maintain that. So our last podcast or the podcast before that, we discussed about keeping Army strong, and for the agency not to mess over Army and make the right choices where Army is concerned, and that is worldwide Army. So if they have put out a notification saying that only the U.S. and Canada residents are going to be able to do this concert, even if you held tickets and you were in another country, that is a huge mistake. And I understand Mimi, you're saying that maybe they're trying to keep the pool, well,
that's what
down.
she said, but I agree with that. That makes perfect sense if this is a pilot, which we know it to be.
However, if they are only doing it because it's a pilot and they're just testing out and trying, if it is successful, they had better open it up to whoever had tickets.
That statement doesn't make sense.
I'm not finished with my statement. Because if you don't, that is another link in the chain that weakens worldwide Army as a unity, because you start getting armies that say, this is not. So let's go back to the dark days.
We don't need to go back. Again,
Wait,
that statement.
let me finish my statement. So if we go back to the dark days where we would sit around and be upset about what this country got or what that country got or what this army got or J Army got or so forth and so on, that put a real tether on us, that as a family, as a fandom. Nobody wants to go back to those days. That's what we've been talking about the past few podcasts. Nobody wants to go back to those days. And we also talked about the agency being aware of don't do stuff that break us down internally.
We're contradicting ourselves. Listen, why do you think they're doing the pilot?
We just discussed to be safe and try it out.
But why do you think they're doing that?
Do it that
For
way.
what purpose?
You lost me with the question.
Why do you think they're doing the pilot? So
Okay,
that they can just do the pilot for no
so tell me what
reason?
your thoughts are.
Because so that they can do it elsewhere. Like we're literally contradicting ourselves. They're not doing this test run just so they can do the test run and then they do these 2 dates in LA and that's just it.
We would hope.
That doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
So yeah, I 100% believe they're doing this so that they can do that. We know
And then open it up to other countries.
that.
What is it you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Yes,
like there's
okay.
no other reason to do it other for that.
we would hope that that's what they do. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Somebody, whoever's making the choices, and we have not been agreeing with the choices that they have been making. Whoever's making these choices, I would hope, if that's what they're doing this pilot, and we're calling it a pilot, they're not. You better damn well open it up from here on out if it is successful. We would like to think that's what they're going to do. That would be great. But we have not been agreeing with a lot of the decisions they've been making, because a lot of the decisions they've been making have not been taken into consideration keeping worldwide Army strong.
Yeah, but I think one kind of doesn't. Well, I agree. We have not been in agreement with their behavior, but I 100% believe that. I mean, it's just common sense to me. I definitely think these are pilots, and they're doing these pilots so that they can get back on the road.
And
That's
to
what
be
they've
fair,
been wanting
again,
to
that would
do
be great.
for years, and
This
they've
is
just
all speculation on our
Oh,
part.
heck yeah.
We are
Yeah.
all, again, just speculating.
And a lot of things we've been speculating has come to fruition.
been. Yeah,
We're pretty good
Yeah.
at speculating.
Yeah.
I'll put it out there. But I just want to,
Because
maintain
I'm
again,
gonna tell
we're
you the reason
speculating.
why I just think it's a no-brainer is because they were devastated by that concert that was canceled. They were devastated by that. And so anything that's going to get them back on the road and back out there to Army, back out to their energy source, they're going to do it. That's what this pilot is for. That's why I think it's so important for us to do everything right.
Yeah.
So that other Army can experience what we experience. I'm telling you.
And I want to be fair to all parties too, even to the agency that I have not been agreeing with lately.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be fair to all parties, especially because I'm grateful that they did this and I didn't think they were going to.
Yeah.
I don't know I don't know the reasons that they haven't opened to other countries. It could be not on the agency's fault, but on, that country. I don't know what everybody's government is saying.
Yeah,
I haven't been following that.
So I do. So 2 months ago or 3 months ago, the U.S. came to agreement with a lot of countries. I forget how many, more than 10 countries. I'm going to say between 10 and 15 countries, as far as a border bridge. And they opened our borders back up to a lot. And I know this because we have family in London, and London was one of the places they did not. Mm-hmm. As of November 1st, they're opening up to the rest of the countries, and that includes London. So it will be open.
I understand that, yes. But at the same time, I don't know how long they've been planning this and what the deadlines for them were in planning this. For example, like say they had to pick what the parameters for the tickets were at a certain time months ago.
Yeah.
And at that point, they
didn't worked with what they had.
Yeah, the regulations didn't work. Mm-hmm. So again, just giving them the benefit of the doubt, I think that if it is only closed to US and Canada, I don't think it's a malicious reason. Is all I'm saying.
No, I don't think, honestly, and we've said this before, that any of this is a malicious reason until it comes down to monetizing and Nexum. But I don't think any of this is a malicious reason, either in the stuff we haven't agreed upon with them. I think it's just and we touched on this before, a narrow-minded, a tunnel vision kind of thing where you're not used to considering worldwide Army. And I'm not talking about using this first one as a pilot. I'm talking about anything that we've disagreed with. That I don't think any of it has been a malicious thing. It's just, like we said before, it's been a tunnel vision thing where individuals who have a decision-making process that are part of the decision-making process are not used to seeing Army as a worldwide. And so like the Zoom thing, you weren't used to seeing Army. You brought up, I don't think it was malicious. I think they just honestly are not used to catering to Army as worldwide. So
that's true, because we've talked about many times before that Hive has needed to bring in people constantly to, cater to the business growing. I think it's extremely possible that most of these people are not experienced in that regard because BTS is their own category. Mm-hmm. Anybody new coming in that's not Army themselves will not be able to understand until they see it how many Army are really worldwide. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that for even non-Army who are not trying to be mean to me, even when I try to explain to them, I am being serious when I tell you there are a lot of fans in random places in the world, actual true Army fans.
There's over 90 million strong in Army.
Yes.
So what I'm thinking is, because they know, and we're not mentioning this, the virtual portion of this.
Right.
They will still be able to see the concert. They won't be there physically, but they will still be able to experience it virtually, and that's anywhere.
Can you elaborate on the online part for our listeners, in case no?
So, it's pretty much the same that it's been. We have purchased the last 2 virtual concerts, or was it been 3?
There's been 1. The On concert. I don't know what you mean.
No, there's Bang Bang concert before that.
They had
Bang
the Bang Bang Con. And then
here's the
had
thing about Bang Bang Con. The Bang Bang Cons were reruns of the other concerts.
It doesn't matter. It's all the same format. So it's the same format for all of them. You can purchase your ticket for whichever day you want to watch on your online streaming. Of course, you can choose your packages of the 4K, the this, the that. And I'm not sure this go around if they're going to have a special ticket where you can
around. They're going to do They're going to do sound check. One of the tickets you can purchase for this virtual includes a sound check.
Ooh. So so you're not completely excluded. You will have an opportunity to be a part of it all. And I hope you choose to take that, because even when we thought they were going to do the concert in Korea and we could watch it virtually, we were going to purchase tickets.
Yeah.
But it just so happened that one got canceled.
Yeah, just like we're the Mustards. We're grateful to be able to, except for this last Mustard kind of ticked our high because it was not a VOD. But even the Mustards, we're always grateful for the fact that we can watch them live.
Yeah.
That is a wonderful thing that we have the opportunity to watch them live. And this Permission to Dance concert virtual is going to be a live stage. So that's going to be great for those people who are not able to participate in this.
But I wonder if those who have the VVIP tickets in the other countries can use that towards the virtual.
They might be able to, because there's
So
no
that's
reason why they
something
wouldn't.
you can look
So
into.
for that U.S. and Canada restriction, I think that was only for going in person. They probably have the online
Oh
one to
yeah,
everyone.
worldwide, you ought to be. Anybody should be able. All
Yes,
90
absolutely.
million armies. Should
No,
be able
not
to,
that they can't.
watch.
Not that they can't watch it, but if they can use that code toward an upgrade of some sort. Do you know what I mean? Like use that code toward getting
The sound check.
the
and
sound
the
check
first
that they
package
want
of
or
the
whatever,
ticket.
whatever. Ooh, y'all get to get sound check. That's exciting.
Yeah.
That's exciting. We're also going for sound check. Just keep your fingers, your toes, your eyes, everything crossed. Okay.
I don't know. Well, after we procure our tickets Tuesday and Wednesday, after this week is over with, I still may purchase the the virtual one. Just
I'm
to
keeping my
experience.
money in case they add more dates and I have to go further into debt. Okay.
Why would you pitch it? Why would you do the virtual? You'll be there, and it's not VOD, so it's not like
It's
you
not
can
the
watch
same
it.
dates.
What are you talking about?
What you said? I'll be there. You mean later on?
You'll be at the concert.
They're not the same dates. This virtual one is here in October. Our concert is not until.
Oh, it's for the October concert, not the December one.
Yeah, so when they have the
Oh.
virtual one in October, I hope it's. I don't know if it's gonna be the same platform. What is it gonna? Y'all think it's gonna be the same set list and same concert? What do y'all?
I don't
do
know.
not know.
Because
They
to
tend
be
to change
fair,
it up.
yeah, they do tend to change it up. We didn't know they were going to play Tier last time we were in concert.
Jesus. You went there.
You
I
did
went
go
there.
there. All I can think about, if you sit next to me, you may get hurt. Okay, you may get
Yes.
hurt.
I know this time, so I might go in armor.
I wonder if they're gonna, because of social distancing. I wonder if they will sell as many. So we keep talking
That
about
is true.
this 70,000
I wonder
stadium,
if
but I'm
they
wondering if they're going
only,
to be selling 70,000 and probably 35,000, which is exactly half. So I'm wondering.
That's
You
a
just blew
good
my mind.
question.
All kind of explicits came up in my head when you said that.
We don't know.
No, that changes everything. That's a very good speculation. That's very possible they might do that. And that means a whole lot of different things. Not just for competition, but
Okay.
in person.
That's a good point. However, I don't think the math aligns with the fact that they're giving us 4 days of so many opportunities to purchase tickets.
Or the
I mean, it
fact
makes-
that every person can purchase up to 4 tickets. That's a good lot of.
I think that's still well deserved for those who held on their tickets for 2 years. So if you held on your ticket for 2 years, bravo
no,
to you.
Yeah, that's not what she's saying. Though. She's saying as far as the numbers. Are you talking about the numbers?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As far as if they do like half, that's just how do you do half? But you're
But
allowing
it may
everybody
not
to
be
buy
half.
4.
It might be somewhere between
Yeah,
half
we
and the full
established that this
capacity.
is just speculation, but
Yeah.
I didn't mean to blow nobody's mind.
You did, girl. You know the little emoji with the brain.
Well, want to know where my mind actually went to? My mind actually went to, am I going to have some arm room? If that's the case, like, because last time we were in person, I don't bring it up because we remember only the good memories, but there's this one army who was really testing me right behind us.
She was.
trying to tell Mimi to put her arms down. And let me tell you, y'all, if I wasn't donning my army uniform, I would have reacted as Sarah would, okay? And I would not have been as nice. But my mind immediately went to, if they're not doing the full capacity, are we going to have space around us?
Well, that's a very interesting point. Let me just break it down to International Army who come to America. Now, if you are from Korea or you are from Japan or you are from a country that does concerts a little bit differently in the way that you behave, in America, we're a little wild. Hey, we're not going to sit down during the concert. We're not going to just cheer when it was designated time for us. We don't work like that. We a little wild. We gonna be up. We gonna be swaying our arms, our butts, our heads. We gonna be pumping up the air. We gonna be doing it all. So if you think when you come to a concert in America that it's going to be in any shape, form, or fashion relaxed or semi-calm, you may want to rethink
It's
buying a
not the
ticket.
opera.
And
Well, you know, go ahead.
to be fair, I don't want anyone to think that means it's like every army for themselves. It's not that way at all. We all still are very respectful of each other. we're not going to hurt each other. We're not
No,
going to push or
absolutely
shove
not.
at all. It's just we are all culturally in agreement. We're going to go wild for this concert.
And
Yeah.
when you said that, for the first time ever in my Army history, I kind of see, you know how we've always watched the stages in other countries, and we watched our stages, and we're like,
They're like night and day.
But their arms are always close by their sides when they're using their Army bombs, and they're just moving up and down general, and all of them are in sync with the same thing. Nobody has the arms in the air, swaying back and forth, bombs up in the air. It is all close to their person.
Yeah.
That may be, as a culture, considerate of everybody else that is behind. Everybody keep your hands low and not high, and just swing them here close to your person.
I respect that.
So that everybody can see over your head, especially because we're all on the same level. All of us that are on the same level. Now, if you're up in the stands and you're looking down, that's another thing. But if we're all on the same level, so I don't know, maybe that individual behind you guys, or some armies think, well, everybody just please keep your bombs down close to your person, so everybody behind you, 4, 5, 6, 15, the back can see. Because we're all, when you're on floor, you're all on the same
I'm not
level.
doing it. I'm gonna be real.
No, I
real with
understand
you.
that. It just dawned on me that maybe that is why they do what they do, because
I
all
don't
of them
know.
in sync.
I don't
keep
know.
it close to
They're
that
also
person.
very quiet. I don't know why they do what they do, and I don't necessarily. I respect everybody's. I ain't doing it. I just don't even
Yes,
know.
I think
get
it's
that.
very
I'm not
clear.
suggesting you
Is
do
one,
that.
I actually agree that at least is part of the reason, because if you think about it culturally, even in Asian culture, it's very much about like community. How can we all make the experience better for everyone? And even down to the being quiet thing, maybe you do that so you can hear the voice more properly. Because I remember last time we weren't complaining, but we were commenting that in some of the concerts in other countries, we thought they were way too loud.
Because all you could hear was singing the song.
So
and you couldn't hear
it
the
comes
guy
down to
singing
cultural
the song.
difference, and that's fine. Mimi's just saying that culturally in America,
We
for
don't
other
do that.
armies, yes, we don't do that.
But I was just saying, it just dawned on me
Not
for
only
the
do
first
we
time
not do
that's
that,
why.
but because you were dealing with Army and because you were dealing with an even nicer Army, that we semi, because I didn't fully, but we semi respected your request. But just be aware that when you were in America, that is not how the protocol is. So you might want to rethink where you get your ticket.
Yeah, the concert
if you
going
get
culture
your
is
ticket
different.
on the ground, then just be prepared to deal with those in front of you if you don't have front row.
It's definitely probably going to be more chill if you're up in the stands, because you have way more space there too.
And you got a better view.
Yes,
Yeah.
Baby,
'Cause I think
baby,
of-
go to the stands.
When I think of Dallas,
Sorry,
and
I'm
this was
changing.
before stadium. When I think of Dallas, and Dallas was an arena, that's how it was. We were all stair-step stands, and it was easy. Everybody had a tremendously. I miss arena days. I'm not gonna lie. I miss arena days because wherever you sat
Was a good seat.
fabulous view because we were all stair-step.
Oh,
and we were all,
absolutely.
and it was just a fantastic, more communicable.
Well, you know what I know? A little bit of a speculation I have there. Because we, in particular, us four, are a lifetime Army. If BTS sometime in the future are like 55 in their 60s and they're still doing concerts, but they're not doing stadium concerts anymore, we may go back to the arenas. We may
We
go
would
back to a
definitely.
private room and it'll
We
be
would
just us four
definitely.
in BTS.
Yes.
Yes,
I'm willing to wait that long.
I'm
That would be
willing.
nice.
Of course,
That would
yes,
be
we
nice.
are.
Because we're lifers.
Yeah.
We are
For sure.
lifers, so consider between now and the end of our lives,
Oh, speaking of
maybe
that,
different.
just FYI, just to let y'all in, we let y'all in on a lot of what we go through in our process. As soon as we found out about the tickets last week, we began preparing for everything, and that's including with our work environment. I immediately, that very next morning, put in for my days off from work. We prepared with stuff like that.
We already have our flight tickets and our hotel. Like that stuff you can't wait on. That stuff is the first thing that sells out. That's the
prices
first thing to
will
go
shoot
before the
up.
tickets even touch.
They will skyrocket.
Yeah, so that's always the first thing you want to do is procure your flight tickets and your hotel.
Even if you're not comfortable doing the flights because they may not be refundable, almost every hotel we've ever booked has not charged you until you're actually physically checking in. So you might as well
get in there and get that price locked in, because I guarantee you, when we did this on the night that we found out that there were going to be those 4 dates in LA, when we did this on that night, I guarantee you within 24 hours, every LA and surrounding area hotel,
I'm sure
Airbnb jacked
it's
all their
sold out.
prices
I'm
And
sure
they're
it
sold
got
out.
jacked up that night, like
Yeah,
by
they-
midnight.
They jacked their prices up because we've experienced that very same thing.
Yep.
With this last concert. We experienced the day of being literally, and I don't know if we shared that with them, literally being on the phone with the individuals at that particular hotel and saying, hey, we're just checking on whether or not this is right what we're seeing online, that such and such and such. And she kept putting us on hold for very simple questions. And it took forever. And at the time that it was then clarified, yes, they're definitely coming to Dallas, she came back and was about to give us a different quote on the pricing because she was saying something about, we hung up with her and immediately did it online so we could capture that pricing in. Because literally that day, that moment, they were jacking the price up.
Yep. So Armies, that's our little
Time
one
is
of
of
many.
the
We
essence.
got a whole bunch of little tricks under our belt, but that's one we sharing with y'all. Please make sure that's because you can't get to LA and without a place to stay. So
Unless you got fam there.
yeah, unless you got fam.
And you can do what we did when we went to LA.
We had
We
fam.
slept
But
on the floor.
we'll go into more detail with that in our next podcast. We're going to talk about budgeting and all of the logistics that you have to coordinate to figure this stuff out.
It's no game.
But while we're wrapping up the concert, I guess we'll eventually do a podcast about after the concert, hopefully. But right now,
Y'all,
pre-concert.
we should take y'all. We should do it. You should do another golden closet, a
Do
purple
not
closet
pressure
film.
me. Let me create my art.
Do a purple closet film.
Let me do my art.
Because literally,
Can you
honestly,
speak to my
guys,
art?
if you guys have clicked on our link and seen our Sarah's Chicago Purple Army film, we had no idea during that time. We knew she was filming, but we had no idea she was putting together that type of like golden
Beautifulness.
closet film filming.
She's
And I
gifted.
can't
She's
be
talented.
vibing if y'all are going to be around my shoulder this time knowing I'm filming. So just pretend I'm not doing anything.
You're right.
Just
I
that
don't
same as
know.
last
I don't
time.
know.
Just let me do my thing. All right.
We loved it. Oh my gosh! Whenever
Well,
we
I
want to
don't film
relive
with
the
the
moments.
crew. All right.
watch it when we get off.
We're gonna wrap up our final thoughts.
Let's
on
wrap it up.
This beginning process. Who wants to go first?
I'm going to be nauseous until after we get our tickets.
All right.
Yeah, that's a good wrap up.
Yeah.
I've already see. I work at a job. I've been there for 7 years, and they already know when BTS ticket time come rolling around. They already know to buy me treats and to leave me alone. So I already told my job Tuesday is ticket buying day. We already know how this day gonna go. It's stressful, y'all. It's so stressful. I guess if you're just buying one ticket for you and you know
We're
you don't really
coordinating a
care
group.
about where you sit, then it's easy peasy lemon squeezy. But when you have a specific goal in mind and you are zoned in on where you want to be, how you want, it's stressful.
Well, take it back to our before Army membership days when we wanted a concert. Just the fact that they sell out within 2 seconds. And
Yeah, that's
literally 2
insane.
seconds, that's a terrifying feeling.
Yeah.
But now we have the privilege of being Army members as well as force refund people.
Yeah, VVIP.
Yes, and all of these pre-sales, like they mentioned the messaging, I'm very grateful for because they mentioned in the messaging they partially did this also to eliminate more bots and scalpers from getting
And
tickets.
that-
And thank goodness.
That is glorious because that has been a bane in our being
don't even
for
get me-
years.
Do not be
The
angry at other
online
army.
scalpers.
Do not blame other army
Yeah.
for you not getting a ticket. For
It's the
years
scalpers.
past, it is the scalpers because
Yeah.
they will buy them at dozens to hundreds at a time.
And then do them at scalping prices.
Yes.
And even they do them at ridiculous prices that are not even scalping prices because back in the day, scalping prices on the street when they was trying to get you to buy this off of them, they weren't jacking them up. They were
weren't.
lowering it and saying, I got you paid $100 for it. I got it for you for $50. So
Yeah.
this is just, anyway, new
It's
age
robbery.
robbery. But with that in mind, the concert buying process is a lot better. And I love the fact that they did the codes, is what you meant, right? They did it
Yeah.
by giving us special codes
Special
because
days,
that
a lot of
eliminates
times.
that first and second day. No bots are getting in unless you had VIP ticket.
And
bots.
you have to
And I
register
highly
your
doubt
info.
any scalper held on to
Yeah.
those tickets for 2 years. I guarantee you, the moment they realized that those concerts were canceled, they returned them, then got
That's
their money
true.
back. I
Yeah.
guarantee you they did.
Yeah, so no bots first day 1 and day 2, no bots. And they
So
may sneak
slap
in
in the
day
face
3.
to you scalpers.
And then not only no bots, we talked about it failing out in seconds or in a minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. It no longer does that. for most places because of the process that they have put in line now also. But then again, don't count on that for this upcoming sale because the seating is very limited and the dates are very limited. So, but my final thoughts on that is I'm just super excited. I was telling Thing this on the way coming over to do this podcast. I hate this time of year, but I thrive on this time of year because it gives you so much anxiety, but then you come out on the other end just knowing exhilarated. It's an exhilarating type of anxiety.
We're going to be at BTS's second winter concert.
Yes!
Yes, literally.
We're going to be at their second winter concert.
And guys, I know you are listening. Do prepare for it, even though it's LA, and I know y'all are used to that beautiful sunny LA weather. It is still going to be some pretty cold
in December
days,
it gets not cold as in like
not in Korea,
not Midwest or in Korea, but it'll be about in the late 60s, early young.
But I don't
70s.
think it's going to rain. I think that's a big
It
change.
never rains in Southern California. It doesn't. I'm gonna tell you, it doesn't rain there. I live there, and when it does rain, they literally act like it's a blizzard. They literally drive like they driving. I mean, they almost want to cancel school. It literally doesn't rain there, so the chances of it raining will be very slim.
Well, good luck to you. Good luck to us. I really hope we'll see you at the concert.
Yes.
And everybody be safe and be nice.
Be safe and get the virtual.
And get vaccinated.
And that ends it.
Yeah.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
Now you know, Army. Bye-bye.